All right, let's talk about the fear that's absolutely sweeping through the software world right now. There's this massive narrative going around that AI is about to make tons of great companies basically worthless, almost overnight. But is the market right to be this spooked? Or is it getting something fundamentally wrong? Let's dig in and see if we can separate the real panic from the actual potential.
So this is the big question on everyone's mind, right? Is AI really killing software stocks? It sounds like a simple yes or no, but honestly, the answer is anything but. So for today's explainer, we're gonna put on our detective hats. We'll deconstruct this story that's taken over the market and try to find some clarity in what feels like a pretty chaotic time.
First, let's just get a feel for what's happening out there. The market isn't exactly using a scalpel right now. It's more like a sledgehammer. Fear is completely in the driver's seat, and it's causing investors to just sell everything. We're talking about the weakest players and the absolute strongest, all getting thrown out together without much thought. Now, the story that's fueling all this panic is, well, it's pretty simple and frankly kind of terrifying. It goes like this. Why would you or your company pay for a dozen different software tools when, in theory, one super smart AI agent could just do it all for you? It's a powerful narrative that suggests the value of so much of the software we use every single day is headed straight for zero. And you gotta understand, this panic isn't just hitting a few companies that were already struggling. No way. It's putting the squeeze on the absolute titans. We're talking Microsoft, Google. It's hammering the darlings of Wall Street, those high-growth software stocks. And it's even hitting sectors that people thought were safe, like cybersecurity and core infrastructure. It's a classic case of throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
But here's where the plot thickens. There's this one huge piece of evidence that just doesn't fit the whole software is dead story. It's such a major contradiction that for our purposes, we're just gonna call it the Apple paradox.
Seriously, just think this through for a second. If a huge portion of all software is about to be worthless, who has the most to lose? It's gotta be the company that literally takes a 30% cut of almost every app and subscription sold on its platform, right? The fact that Apple's stock isn't in a nosedive like so many others pokes a massive hole in the market's entire panic-driven logic.
You see, Apple runs the biggest, most profitable software toll booth in the history of the world. Its stock holding up suggests one of two things is happening. Either the market is just deeply confused, or its fear is really, really selective. And that opens up a fascinating possibility. Maybe, just maybe, this huge sell-off in other places is a massive overreaction.
And that right there, that's the core of what we're looking for today. If the market is just selling off everything without thinking, it means that some incredible, high-quality companies are getting punished right alongside the ones that are actually in trouble. This chaos creates an amazing opportunity, the chance to find what the source material calls the wrongfully killed stocks. The source material actually has this fantastic term for it, kuo sha. It's a Mandarin term that basically translates to wrongfully killed or wrongful conviction. And it perfectly captures this idea of a great company just getting dragged down in a wave of fear, being punished for a crime it didn't even commit. So our job now is to figure out which of these companies have been wrongfully convicted. So how do we find them? Well, we can use a pretty simple two-step framework. First, and this is key, we have to cut through all the noise and hype. We need to find companies with cold, hard numbers showing they are a material beneficiary of AI, not just companies that are talking about it. And step two, we focus on growth. Because in a panic like this, the fastest growing companies often get hit the hardest, which means that's where the biggest bargains are probably hiding. Okay, let's put our framework to the test. Our first case study is a company called Cloudflare. They provide a lot of the essential behind-the-scenes plumbing and security that honestly makes the internet actually work. Now, the market's fear is pretty simple. Oh no, AI means fewer humans clicking on websites. But that's missing the bigger picture. To answer just one of your questions, an AI agent might have to go out and crawl 200 or 300 different websites in the background. That explosion in machine-to-machine traffic is a huge tailwind for a company like Cloudflare that gets paid for usage. So, ironically, AI actually increases the need for what they do. All right, next up, let's look at one of the true giants, a company that's also been caught in this sell-off, even though they're one of the undisputed leaders in the AI race, Microsoft. So, the market got a little spooked when it looked like Microsoft might be renting out less of its cloud computing power. But you have to ask, what does that really mean? It's not a sign of weakness, it's a massive sign of confidence. They're basically saying, we're gonna keep this power for ourselves because our own AI products are that good.
They're betting on themselves, and that is a classic long-term power move.
For our final case study, let's dive into a sector that becomes just exponentially more important in a world with AI, cybersecurity. And we're going to look at a leader in that space, CrowdStrike.
Just think about the security risks for a second. When any employee can just download a powerful open source AI model and potentially give it access to all of the company's sensitive data, well, you've just created a security nightmare of epic proportions. This isn't a problem you can solve with some good enough internal fix. This creates a massive, and I mean urgent, demand for professional enterprise-level security platforms.
And this quote on the slide absolutely nails it. When it comes to things that are mission critical, like security or compliance, or even just making sure everyone gets paid on time, you don't mess around. Companies will always pay for a reliable professional service over some risky, unproven AI tool because the consequences of getting it wrong are just too high. This is where you see the real-world need for viability over just possibility.
Now, this kind of widespread panic doesn't just mess with stock prices. It messes with how people think, and it leads to this huge valuation fallacy. Investors start to get lazy. They start using the same simple measuring stick, like a price-to-sales ratio, and apply it to companies that are wildly different. The quote here really says it all. I mean, how can it possibly make sense for a company growing at a steady 10% a year to have the same kind of valuation as a company growing 5 times faster at 50%? It makes no sense at all. But in these moments of intense fear, the market just abandons logic, and that is precisely where massive opportunities are born. So we've seen how the market is probably getting it wrong when it comes to individual software companies. But what if it's missing the bigger picture entirely? What if the real ultimate winner of this whole AI revolution isn't a software company at all? And this brings us right back to the Apple paradox. The ultimate winner in the long run might not be a pure software company. It could very well be the hardware platform that already owns the customer, owns the device in their hand, and most importantly, owns the one thing that's almost impossible to build from scratch: their trust. In the end, the ultimate gatekeepers just might have the ultimate advantage. All of these different threats, the market panic, the Apple paradox, these mispriced growth stocks, they all point to one final, really crucial way of thinking about how to navigate the age of AI. It's understanding the critical difference between possibility and viability. You see, on day one, AI makes it possible to whip up a basic version of almost any software. It looks like magic. It's amazing. But what about day 2, and day 3, and day 300? That's when you have to deal with maintenance, security, reliability, customer support, and the true cost of it all. What's truly viable, and almost always cheaper and safer in the long run, is to just buy the professional, battle-tested service. So as this AI wave keeps reshaping everything, the real question for all of us is the one right here on this slide. Are you going to chase the shiny new possibility of what AI could do, or are you going to invest in the boring, durable, reliable viability of what companies and people actually need? Your answer to that question is probably going to make all the difference.